Hey, it's Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, and I earned that nickname because I love working for fans of the Carolina Panthers. So anytime you have a question about this team, for a coach, for a player, please let me know. I love to go to those people directly, get questions answered for you, and play those videos for you. And if you miss it live, just leave your comments in the video, and I always, as much as I can, go back and answer all of those questions. So nevertheless, let's get into this Carolina Panthers report for today, Thursday, September the 15th, as we're that much closer to taking on the New York Giants. Uh, Normally I'll start with the transactions. If we've had any, we have not had any transactions with the team, with players today. So we'll move into that injury report, which we had yesterday as well. And we get now each week because we are now in the NFL season. So immediately I'm going to say what you notice here is that you do not see Christian McCaffrey on the injury report. He was only on there yesterday because he was resting due to injury. I'm sorry, resting to get rest. No injuries right now. Let me again say no injuries. He was just on there yesterday because he's getting rest. But what we have right now is defensive end Marquis Haynes. He was limited in practice today with a hip. Linebacker Frankie Luvo limited as well with a shoulder. Offensive tackle limited with a knee. That's offensive tackle Taylor Moton limited today with a knee. And then linebacker Brandon Smith, he had a thigh injury. He was limited in practice with that thigh injury. All right, so today's Thursday, and Thursdays are always a good day, a little bit of long days. We get a chance to talk with the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, as well as the special teams coach. And we get a chance to talk to him a little bit about last weekend as well as the upcoming week. So up first, we're going to talk about Phil Snow, our defensive coordinator. And Phil Snow is part of the, he's responsible for all the yards that Nick Chubb and the Cleveland Browns crew had against the Carolina Panthers last week. And this week, we take on Saquon Barkley and the New York Giants. So just to give you a little perspective on things, last week we gave up, I forget exactly, but I'm going to say top 3 most yards in rushing last week across the NFL versus the Cleveland Browns. This week, we're going against the New York Giants. I forget their exact number, but they were top 3, if not the top, in rushing yards last week in their opener. So that could be a recipe for a disaster. But nevertheless, Phil, let us know what you're going to do with this defense to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So give me just a second, and I'm going to cue that up for you. All right, so here we go. Phil Snow on what we're going to do to stop.
You know, it's funny because I had to defend him twice in college when he was at Penn State. He's really a good player. When I was at Temple, we recruited him too. His girlfriend actually played, I think it was lacrosse or something at Temple. So he'd come around a lot. But he's a great guy and really a good player. He's really explosive. He has really good size. He can catch the football. He's really a good player. It was sad to see him get hurt a year ago, but it looks like he's back to being healthy.
So you see right there, Coach didn't really say exactly what he was going to do other than giving you a really good story there about how he had his girlfriend was going to Baylor, and that did not help him in the recruiting process. They did say they tried, but it didn't help. Penn State was a pretty good college, and they were able to recruit Saquon instead of him being at Temple. But he really didn't say how they were going to stop him other than mentioning the fact that he's a really good player. Now, he went on further to talk about the fact that, well, let me not get ahead of myself. I was getting ahead of myself here. Another issue that we had last week in allowing so many yards was our tackling. Did not have good enough tackling at all across that defense. Matt Rule said that we had like 17, 18 missed tackles, led to lots of yards after the initial contact. So with that being what happened last week, with us facing another really good, outstanding running back this week, Coach, tell us about the emphasis on getting that corrected this week, which you have to do against the New York Giants. And let me cue that up for you as well.
points after a week like that?
Well, I think everybody looked at the tape and said, we were in a lot of good positions and we didn't tackle very well in the game. And you can't do that against Chubbs. He's really good, and 27, the other back's really good. So we just got to get back to basics, which we have this week, and reset. But we have our hands full with, Barkley. The thing that's scary about him is he can make 60 and 70-yard plays. Chubbs makes a lot of 6 to 20-yard plays, right? But Barkley can go 70 on you in a hurry. So, you've got to really be detailed and demanding in what we do and our angles and tackling with Barkley.
All right, so that was really good information about what happened last week and what they need to do to get things correct. And it also, to me, as I listen to it right now, sharing it with you all, brought together a new concern. Okay, so he said the difference between Chubb and Barkley is Barkley is more likely to break that missed tackle and put a big one on you, go 60, 70 yards down the field, versus Chubb isn't. And I guess that's more so because he's saying that Saquon has better speed. He's a faster guy. He'll break it and just really gain momentum going downhill and have a big play on you. So, wow, I mean, if ever there's a time that we got to get that together and there could be a concern for the run defense, will be this weekend, because instead of just getting 10, even maybe a 20-yard gain or 15-yard gain against this Carolina Panthers defense, you're looking at a guy that's going to get 60-yard gains potentially and get into the end zone, put up a 6 point. So, man, I like the information, but basically what it boils down to is saying when they're talking about angles and gap, I'm just going to dumb it down and say these guys just have to be more disciplined and do their role. If your role is to take a certain angle and make sure that this guy, you cut off the guy going deep, then you make sure you stay there, stay disciplined, cut the guy off from going deep. If your job is to make sure the guy doesn't bounce to the outside, make sure he doesn't get to the outside. Just don't try to do more than what your position is causing you to do, and that could lead to some more success on the on the defensive side of the ball. Now we're going to switch over to the offensive side, where we had a chance to talk to Ben McAdoo, and everybody knows last week versus the Cleveland Browns, this game started out super duper slow. It started out just bad. It looked like it was going to be a 40-0 type score. Okay, maybe not that bad, but it looked pretty bad. Then all of a sudden things started clicking. Things started clicking in the Carolina Panthers, as Matt Rule has talked about, in the last 35 minutes of the game. They started averaging 7.5 yards per play, albeit the bomb to Robbie Anderson helped with that significantly. So, question was asked, Ben McAdoo, how do you start off not so slow like you did last week? Let me get that plan for you guys.
Yeah, so we didn't get off to the start we wanted to last week, so we just got to keep working. We showed up with a good attitude on Monday, and we looked at the tape and everyone took ownership. I got to do a better job getting guys ready. That's the most important thing, and we just got to stick to the process. We have a good process. We trust the process. We trust each other. We're going to keep working through it, and fix the things that we need to fix, and then we moved on to the next team. So. We're getting ready for the next one here.
All right, so how many of you just enjoyed him saying trust in the process and the brand and getting back to what we need to do? In my opinion, not much of a good answer there. Just hoping that things get better, but I wanted to play that clip for you as well. Now, with the slow start that we had last week, you tend to think, why not get Christian McCaffrey more involved? I asked that question Sunday after the game. Coach said, hey, you hear these 3 and outs didn't give us much of an opportunity. I personally don't buy that. I don't like it. I feel like there was a game plan and they were a little slow to get out of what they thought that they could do, in my opinion, is what happened. Because when you have Christian McCaffrey, you don't only have to use him as a running back. This guy can catch a ball out of the backfield. So to me, if Christian McCaffrey was just a good downhill running back, wasn't somebody that was used a lot for his hands, okay, maybe I could see talking about these 3rd and long situations kind of put you in a pinch. But when this guy led the league, well, he didn't lead the league, but in 1 year, 1,000-yard rushing, 1,000-yard receiving. There's no reason that 3 and outs should limit Christian McCaffrey's touches, as dynamic of a player that he is. Press further about, well, will this week's game plan against the Giants mean that we will see more touches? I don't know why they don't want to tip their hat and say, yes, he's going to get more touches. I don't think that's going to make the New York Giants all of a sudden know how to key in on a Christian McCaffrey because, again, he's dynamic. You don't know if they're going to be rushing between the tackles, if he's going to be catching balls in the flats. But nevertheless, it wouldn't say about Christian McCaffrey getting any more touches, but was able to get the coach to talk about some things that he liked from Ben McAdoo did talk about some things that he liked from Baker Mayfield in game 1. That's gonna be the last video that I'll play for you. Here we go.
This past Sunday, and then how do you take that momentum that we saw in the second half and harness that and carry that into this week?
Yeah, we just got to, Baker's a guy. He showed his fight. He showed his competitiveness. He's a tremendous leader. And you saw the fight in him, right? Things didn't go well, and you just saw the fight in him, and you saw the fight in the rest of the team. Saw how important, not just to him, but how they played and how hard they played, how bad they wanted to win. And I think that's an encouraging sign for us. And, it doesn't matter really there's nothing more relevant in life and in football than the score at halftime. We just got to keep playing. We just got to keep fighting and don't really worry about the scoreboard. Just try to win the next down.
So there you go. Talking about the fight, the resilience that Baker Mayfield had and the team had in coming back. And I will give him just a little bit of credit about that. But, I mean, dang it, if you don't have any fight and resilience in you after week 1 half, week one, I mean, that would be the worst. I mean, we'd be in for a terribly long season if you don't have any fight and resilience after 1 half of the first week of an NFL home opener. But, we'll go with it, right? All right, so Carolina Panthers are preparing to play the New York Giants. I got a little bit of time left. I have not gone to the comments, so I am going to go out here to the comments I can't be the man of the people if I don't get to the comments. So, what's up, Allie? Appreciate you signing on. More worship. Also signing in. Chris out there in these trenches. Yes, I am. So, I always have to try to find a shaded spot. Right now, I'm on I want to say the south side of the stadium. The Panthers Tigers. That was absolutely terrible. The Panthers statues are right in front of me, and I'm by some trees because I need to get some shade so the video will look good. But I've got to go wherever I can to find a good spot. And no, it's not 95 degrees at all. It is actually extremely nice out here today. Extremely nice. What's up, AJ Lindsay? Appreciate you, Donna. Yes, bringing the news. So it was important that I get to 5,000 subscribers. I'm at 5,000. Now I need you all to help me get to 6,000 subscribers. The more I get you all subscribing, the more likes that this video gets, the more players that I am able to get on the screen and talk to in the locker room. I will confess a mistake today in the locker room, talking to Brian Burns. Didn't hit the record button. So I don't have the video to play of me being in the locker room talking with Brian Burns. I'm a transparent guy. I'm not perfect. I am human. But again, the more I grow, the more it helps those guys talk to me in the locker room and get you content, get you the inside information that you like to know. Appreciate you, Donna. What's going on, Trill? What's going on, Rodney? Get CMC some touches? Yeah, man. If we don't get Christian McCaffrey some touches this Sunday, I don't know what to say. Hopefully, obviously I'm going to have to say something because I got to report on it after the game. But I just hope that we're not that determined to protect Christian McCaffrey that we essentially, I forget what his salary is. I know it's extremely high for a running back, but if I'm David Tepper, how in the heck am I at ease with a guy that's perfectly healthy? We're getting our butts beat. I'm paying him a ton of money, and you're giving the ball like 3 rushes. Again, I forget his receptions that first half, but I know he had 3 rushes. I'd be furious, man. I'd be furious about it. He's been hanging around real too long. I'm not sure what that comment was for. 2018, see him rush for 1,000 yards and was 200 yards shy of 100 yards receiving. I thought he had 1,000. Could be wrong. Actually, let me look it up, because you know what? I have the ability to make sure the information that I'm providing is correct. So let me just go ahead and double check the Christian McCaffrey comments. All right, new computer. Sometimes things takes me a second to type. All right. So in 2019, Christian McCaffrey played all 16 games. He had 1,387 yards rushing, and he had 1,005 yards receiving. And yes, in 2018, he was a 1,000-yard rusher and just 200 yards, about 150 shy of getting 1,000. So he had nearly, closely, having back-to-back 1,000-yard games. Man, just incredible guy. Don't sit him down. They didn't even attempt to get Christian McCaffrey the ball in the first half. I mean, they attempted to, but it was poor. It was nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough. What's going on, Chris Johnson? Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah. And actually, let me see. I can tell you his exact touches from that game. Let me see. Week 1 versus Cleveland, first half. So yeah, week 1 versus Cleveland, first half. Christian McCaffrey, 3 carries, 9 yards, 3-yard average, and he had 2 receptions. So total, he had 5 touches in that first half versus the Cleveland Browns. The touches that he had was terrible as far as the receptions. Two receptions, 2 yards. Part of that was, I'm sure they knew the little swing out play to Christian is very common, and they saw it coming. They were able to read that, and he had nowhere to go on that. But you don't stop trying with that. You know, you don't. That's not enough for you to just say, this isn't working. Let's go do something else. Let's just keep Christian on the side, and we'll save him for later in the season when the season's lost, because we're 0. Anyway, hopefully that's not the case. Let's continue to go on through here. Getting some AC, that Carolina heat is different. Yeah, guys, right now the heat is not bad at all. I'm doing okay, but I appreciate the concern. We sure got the talent, but these coaches, man, they never make me feel comfortable. Yeah, we have the talent. Coaching, I would say, had something to do with it, and we got to get better. You know, they did make the adjustments in the second half. So because of those second half adjustments, I'm not panicking. I'm not like, oh my God, that was the worst game ever. And we are losing sight that we, should have won that game. We came back. We came back pretty good, and it was not just one officiating. There was a couple officiating things that happened that made that game, influence the ending of that game. I'm going to try to get out of the sunlight a little bit, so let me step back here a little bit so you can see this glow evenly. Let's see. They probably won't go 3 and out if they didn't throw the ball 3 times straight. Very true, very true. Next time, talk to Bradley Bozeman and how he's feeling about not starting, because we all know he should be starting. So Bradley, they're going to work him back in there. Bradley right now is still trying to get back up to speed from his injuries. He's not 100%. And I know sometimes you can say, well, football players aren't always 100%, but that's what's going on right now. AJ, I appreciate the question, and I'm going to make a note to look into that. So give me just a second to make that note for myself. All right. Got a chance for about 2 more comments that I'm going to try to get out of here. Let me see what we got here for these last 2 minutes. Appreciate you, AJ. CMC should average about 20 to 25 touches a game. Yeah, coaches were asked about that as well. Like, what would you like to see? And they didn't give a number. They still don't want to put anything out there about how much Christian should have the ball. And I think that's more so just, keeping everybody safe, right? Keeping all your coaches, keeping your staff, not trying to throw guys under the bus, and just kind of saying, hey guys, we're just going to say it played out how it played out, and we'll continue to call games how we're going to call games. We won't have a predetermined number like we have to get this guy so many touches. All right, so Cody Lackney. I'm going to end on this one, man of the people. Yes, I am. So I got to sign off for now because I got to break this equipment down, et cetera, et cetera. But I will always go live. I will always take your questions. If I didn't get to it live, look for me to come back and answer them in the comments. I earned this nickname that you see down there, man of the people, because I love working for you guys, all right? Trying to be well, I know I'm the only media that goes live every single time that there's practice to make myself accessible to you all to answer questions. So for that, I hope that you appreciate the channel. I hope that you'll subscribe to the channel. I hope that you'll tell a friend about the channel. Let's get to 6,000 subscribers. I'm going to be up in New York, continue to cover this team for you this weekend. So, hey, let's get it, all right? So that is all for today. Chris Jenkins signing off from Bank of America Stadium for Charlotte Vibe.